Do you like to learn about random wild stuff? You know, the things you didn't think you needed to know about, then realize you should? Then welcome to Nothing Off Limits, the podcast that gives you one place to go for something different. Impress your next party guest with your unusual body of knowledge. And if you dig the show, get more information at ladyfoxentertainment.com and subscribe, rate, or review. Thanks. Hey everybody, Michelle Ann Owens here, your handy-dandy hostess of NOL. I wanted to do a little 30-day post-launch update, 30-day-ish. It's a little over 30 days now. I launched on June 6th, and here we are. We're the second week into July. Holy moly, it's gone by fast. And I wanted to let you guys know that I am super grateful for those of you who are listening and enjoying the show. I have to say, it's pretty cool because people from all over the world are listening to this thing. It's like people in, of course, the US, Canada, the UK, all across Europe. I've got people in South Africa listening, people in Australia and New Zealand. I have people in the Caribbean and people in Iceland. And it's really, really cool because I've noticed that past episodes are growing in download numbers all the time, which means that more and more people are now discovering the podcast. Discoverability is a huge issue in the community. And they're finding it and they're going back and listening to old episodes, which is awesome. So things are going very well. Downloads are growing by leaps and bounds. And I have all of you out there listening to thank for it. So if you have a friend, a coworker, a family member, somebody you know who might dig this podcast, please turn them on to it. I'll be forever grateful to you. Also, I wanted to give shout outs regarding the swag promotion. We did this swag, as you know, with some awesome brands and individuals who have been guests on the podcast. And it went very well. Got some great reviews on iTunes, which was the whole point, to get you guys to give me your feedback. And in return, I give you some goodies. I sent out the list of winners already, and those bags are going to go out as soon as I can get some bubble wrap around those mugs so they don't crack in transit. I wanted to thank the brands who participated and provided those free products. They were not cheap. Fantastic stuff. Some of those supplements are like $70 a 30-day supply. So awesome. Thank you to everyone for that. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I went to this conference last week. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called Podcast Movement. And, the podcasting community is growing and growing and growing. And I was a little worried about going to this thing. I was like, man, I'm in my little cocoon all the time doing my thing, and I'm nervous to meet the community. Is everybody going to be nice? Are they going to be cool? Are they going to be supportive? Or are they going to be overly competitive, nasty people? I found out that the community is awesome. And I was especially blown away by one of the top podcasters, Pat Flynn. He's got a podcast called Smart Passive Income. Also, Ask Pat, and he's got a food truck podcast, but he did a presentation at PM, and he blew my mind. Clearly, he provided the most value out of everyone and gave actionable tips to the podcasters out there in the audience on how to best grow your podcast. And the guy has 24 million listeners on just one of his 3 podcasts. So I can only work hard and hope that I can have that kind of reach and influence and positive impact on people listening. So I wanted to give a special shout out to Pat. Also, I wanted to thank the Blueberry team. Blueberry, as you may know, if you've been to my resources page, is my media hosting, and they also provide the PowerPress plugin. It's a wonderful system to use. I love their service. And incidentally, I'm going to be on the PowerPress podcast later this week. I'm going to do an episode with Mackenzie. You may have heard her. If you haven't subscribed to that podcast, go to your handy-dandy podcast native app or go to iTunes and sign up. Subscribe for PowerPress podcast. I'm going to be a guest. I'm excited. So want to say thank you to Todd, to Angelo, to Mike, Mackenzie for spending time with me at the conference, sitting down, really getting to know what I'm trying to do with Nothing Off Limits and being an amazing support Thank you so much, Blueberry. And also a quick shout out to Rick Clemens. He's got his own podcast called The Coming Out Lounge. And I'm also going to be a guest on his podcast later this summer. We had recorded last month, I believe. And then Rick is going to come on and return the favor and come on Nothing Off Limits. And Rick is awesome. He spearheaded this outing one night outing, no pun intended. We all went to this wonderful restaurant called Belly Q in Chicago, which was delicious. So thank you to Rick for setting that up and for introducing me to some other awesome people in the podcast community. Another item on my list today is to talk about the coming up next teasers that I've been publishing to iTunes and out to the universe. So the new plan is to have the coming up next teaser at the end of the previous episode so that you know right as you're finishing up the episode that you're listening to what's coming next week on Nothing Off Limits, or the next day if it's one of those special weeks where I'm dropping multiple episodes. All of this will go out on a Sunday night. So I'm going to start publishing new episodes Sunday nights. Sometimes there's a lag in terms of how soon it shows up on iTunes. So that's why I'm going to do Sunday night. And then that way you'll have it for your Monday morning commute. How about that? And the teasers will also be still used on YouTube and social media as well. And if you guys have any kind of objections to that, any intense objections, please email me. Let me know. Next up, I want to mention the fact that I've been doing all of these pre-roll and mid-roll ads. And a lot of these companies and services that I'm mentioning are affiliate relationships for me. So what that means is that I don't get paid if you just click on them and check them out. I only get a small portion of the proceeds of something that you buy, or a service that you buy, or a product you buy from them. So I would love, 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 love for you to support these fantastic companies who have been so gracious to set up these affiliate partnerships with me and support their products and their services, which in turn supports Nothing Off Limits. And speaking of advertisers, if any of you out there listening have a business and you'd love to advertise on Nothing Off Limits, shoot me an email and tell me more about your business. I will match you up with an upcoming episode that fits your brand, and we'll talk about the packages that I can offer. I mean, I don't have 24 million listeners yet, so my rates are going to be a whole lot cheaper than Pat Flynn's. So take advantage of it before Nothing Off Limits grows to these monstrous proportions. But seriously, reach out to me if you'd like to advertise your business on Nothing Off Limits. Would be lovely for me to help you. I'll produce a nice spot for you. And also, I would love for people to take a look and consider clicking on the PayPal donate button on my resources page on ladyfoxentertainment.com. I have that there. It always feels a little funny to ask people to donate, but I think if you're loving what you're hearing and you want to hear more and you want more guests, more awesome information, then please donate whatever you can. $1, $10, $1,000. There are a lot of costs associated with making this content happen. And I really would appreciate your support. So I'm not afraid. The only thing that can happen is for people to say no, right? Mama always taught me, just ask and you may receive. So that's what I'm doing. Please go to my resources page and donate if you can. I'd really appreciate your support. And obviously, whoever donates, I'll give you a shout out on upcoming episodes or via the email newsletter. Speaking of emails, please sign up for the list so that I can stay in touch with all of you. I do not spam and I don't sell my list or any of that silliness. So don't be afraid. I'm not going to, kill you with emails 4 days a week, 5 days a week. I send one weekly newsletter. It's an update on what's going on. It's also a preview of which episode is going to be released that week, or episodes. So it's a nice way for me to keep in touch with you and to keep you, in touch with me. I have a lot more stuff coming down the pike, everybody. I'm going to be doing a contest soon to be announced, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. So in the meantime, again, sign up for that email list. Visit me on Facebook, Twitter. I love Twitter, by the way. My Twitter community is awesome. Shout outs to you guys. And Instagram, which is steadily growing, and thank you there as well. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Catherine Kerrigan, our medical intuitive healer. I've done a session with her personally to release some hurts that I've had and some energetic blocks that I've had. And so I encourage you to take advantage of the offer that she gives all of you listeners at the top of the episode. And one more thing, next week is a special week where I'll be dropping multiple episodes for Difficult People Week on NOL. It's going to be all about narcissists. Some of you knew about my plan to do this and about my fascination with the topic of narcissism. And so it is finally here. I can't wait. Next week, you're going to get multiple episodes and lots of valuable information. Happy listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye. P.S. Did you know that's me singing on the music bumper? No? Well, now you do. Have a great topic you'd like to hear discussed on an upcoming episode of Nothing Off Limits? Email us at ideas@ladyfoxentertainment.com. In the meantime, please subscribe, rate the show, and go to ladyfoxentertainment.com to sign up for our email list and to check out our resources page. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you next time.